A 70-year-old man in Taiwan lives in seclusion. Two young African-American women start a cool polygamous life. In a slightly remote countryside in central Taiwan, there lives an old man named Akun. His family was not well off, started working very early. "I don't have time to take care of my studies." His parents were both point farmers. Young Akun, tirelessly running between heaven and earth and housework. Several frail siblings died young. The burden of the family is even more on his shoulders. Nevertheless, his parents' love for him was deep. He also did his best to repay them for their kindness. "When I was young, through relentless effort and a little luck, he is also setting up a stall to sell snacks. With real materials and hard work. Gradually, it became famous in the local area. He married earlier. Soon they had 2 daughters. However, he was too focused on his work, clumsy when it comes to taking care of the family. His wife felt increasingly lonely. Eventually, some angular syndrome played. It became an irreparable rift, led to their late marriage. He will be carried. The guilt of not taking good care of your wife and family. It's too late. After marriage, he had to raise 3 children on his own. In order to raise the children who are growing up, and for their future, create a stable economic base, he worked harder. He started reciting early every day. The stall was closed until late at night. For the children's tuition, living expenses, and future, he does not refuse any type of business. That's it. Start with a small stall. He gradually amassed wealth. Ultimately, he could afford to buy a first-hand house in town. Traditional Taiwanese dwelling. Time flies. He has entered the prime of his life. His children have grown up. Some started their own families. Others have gained a foothold in society. For him, it seems natural that one should live alone. Rely on the income from renting houses and stalls to enjoy your old age. However, deep down in his heart, there is still a sense of emptiness and loneliness. He had been running for his family for too long. "But I suddenly felt a bitterness. Realize that you have never really lived for yourself." In his seemingly meaningless daily life, he met an unexpected fate. There were 2 young women, work part-time at his food stall. Although they are only 21 and 22 years old, but full of zest for life and positive energy. At first, he just took them for being students who want to learn how to make snacks. Didn't pay much attention to it. But gradually, they began to give him warm care and kind words when his belly is alone. While having lunch in the corner of the elastic stomach, they would quietly come over and chat with him. "Boss, you've worked hard today. It's hot, so drink plenty of water." These words are ordinary, but the old man felt as if it had been a long time. For the first time, someone really cared about him. As the children are busy with their own lives, he rarely had the opportunity to communicate with them openly. With these little cares accumulating little by little, he became more and more concerned about the 2 women. They also seemed to have a subtle affection for him. They also spent more and more time talking together. "Boss, instead of working like this all the time, it's better to take a break. Find something fun to do. Why don't we go to Tamsui Old Street together on the weekend?" It was initially just a light-hearted proposition. For this old man, relaxed conversation with young women, an amazing experience in itself. He accepted the offer almost nonchalantly. They ended up on the weekend. Together went to the nearby Tamsui Lao Street. Since then, the relationship between the 3 became even closer. Start sharing your stories honestly. They say their homeland is somewhere in Africa, although it was not specified which country. But it seems that where the institution of marriage and family culture, it is very different from Taiwan. Because of this, they are very free and open-minded. The old man felt both fresh and a little scared. "Boss, we think you're really great. You're still working hard at your age. Raise the children so well. Listen to your story of hard work. We can learn a lot." He felt a little embarrassed, but the heart is full of pride. His life was full of hardships and regrets. But to hear others compliment him like that, it made him feel a wave of pride in his heart. And then one day, one of the women carefully expressed his feelings. "Boss, Lately my heart has been close to you. Maybe it's too early for me to say this, but I hope to be with you like you. People with rich life experience, looking forward to the future together. He was taken aback by the sudden confession, but at the same time, I feel excited. He thought to himself, what was I thinking? Even age is just a number. I'm also in my 70s. But I was already attracted by his warm eyes and care when he suffers from a chaotic mood. A few days later, another woman expressed the same sentiment to him. I like you too, boss. They call each other sisters. I heard him say that I actually like you for a long time. He felt bright. This old man who was suddenly loved by both of them at the same time, really overwhelmed. On the one hand, he couldn't believe that the two of them really liked him. At the same time, there is a bloom in his heart. I can still be loved by others. But from a realistic point of view, come and see. Choosing one of them seems like a no-brainer. However, what is chilling is this. Neither young woman seemed to want to give up on each other. When they argue like this, the old man was embarrassed. But one day, they made a completely unexpected suggestion. Let's go back to our country together. Polygamy is allowed in our country, so you can marry both of us at the same time. At first, he thought they were joking. But they mean it. Childhood. He was taught that monogamy was the right thing to do. And not only Taiwanese society does not allow Eve to take the flag. The opinions of the people around him will not be very tolerant either. He thought about it for a long time, but he couldn't deny it. Affection for the two of them, already rooted in his heart. In the last stage of his life, he wanted to live for himself once. Is it really okay with you guys? Am I not going to ruin your lives? Here's questions. Both women shook their heads at the same time. We're not trying to compete with each other. Rather, we want to share the love together. We want you to trust our boss. And just like that, the old man decided, take on this completely unexpected challenge. Of course, after his children heard the news, anger and distrust were immediately expressed. Dad, are you crazy? Those young women fell in love with Lin Shiyao in the end. We'll love you. Facing the vitality of his sons venting, the old man replied calmly, I've lived my whole life for you. Now I want to try to live my life according to my heart. Of course, I know it's hard for you to understand, but this choice is for me. It felt like the last time in my life. Opportunity not to be missed. His children. I was overwhelmed by my father's stubborn attitude, but they also witnessed his lifelong conviction. So you can't stop him easily. Look at this from their point of view. It is impossible to accept. But they decided to change it for the time being. This old man. All the preparations were completed in a hurry. He left most of his possessions still in Jack, under their own name. I went out first. Due to the wrong day of the head, Booths must remain in Taiwan. He wants to transfer a portion of his rights to the children. However, he was also eager to redesign the plan of the three of them. It's about building a whole new structure. However, due to the complicated formalities in Taiwan and conflicts between family members have not been fully resolved, his only thought was to go abroad and manage to build a new life. When he boarded the plane, the old man felt an extreme. There was a strange feeling of fear again. He comforted himself. Think of yourself as not abandoning everything to last. It's about looking for new possibilities. As soon as he arrives at an unfamiliar airport, I felt the hot weather in this country and a lively atmosphere. Due to his strong Taiwanese accent, limited communication skills, he had to rely on two women. But they held his hand tightly and smile. Don't worry. We're here to help you with everything. The first few days, they live in hotels to hang the new environment, although he is not familiar with the local language and culture. But luckily, the two women grew up in this country and are proficient in the language here. They called Lao Wang everything from beginning to end, and always by his side. When he got lost on a wide road, they would kindly hold his hand. When choosing a restaurant, they will carefully consider his tastes. Eventually, according to local traditions, they are in this country. A legal ifdak wedding took place. Of course, the wedding was held in accordance with local customs. full of colorful costumes, dance and song theater. The atmosphere was very joyful. Weak. The people of Y were also very interested in the matter of having two brides. But it is said, this is not an extremely uncommon thing in this country. The old man was standing in one place when taking the oath with two women. Feel a strange emotion. Doubts welled up in my mind. Is this really the path I chose? A moment later, seeing the bright smiles of the two women, all worries seemed to have vanished. After the wedding, the trio settled in a quiet residential area on the outskirts. The old man transferred some of his assets to an overseas account to ensure a stable life, and tried to contact the local office, plan for the future. However, he does not intend to stay in the country permanently. He plans to continue practicing with the children who remain in Taiwan, and at the chance to be invited to put. At first, his children were vehemently opposed. But over time, gradually, they began to understand their father's sincerity. Dad, whatever. Please take care of yourself. If something happens, be sure to contact us today. Even the eldest son, who was angry at first. The attitude is also with some. His daughters were worried about his father at least, and say, Dad, it's good if you're happy. Of course, around them, it is also full of all kinds of rumors and gossip. Seduce a young woman from Lao Wang, and rumors of fleeing overseas, to suspect that it may be a hoax. He knows that too. But now he decided to focus more on his own well-being, instead of worrying about what others think. Life in this country is unexpectedly calm. Both wives have found work in their respective fields. The old man has also discovered a new hobby. He wakes up early every morning to go for a walk in a nearby park. It's picking up flowers and plants again, chatting with local friends again. Even when preparing meals, the three of them went shopping and cooking together, suffering from a small happiness. Of course, not everything is perfect. Live together. There will inevitably be small frictions. Jealousy also arises between the two wives. You will say, why do you only listen to which one today? The old man will be in trouble. He strives to be fair. The personalities of the two wives are different. There are many difficulties in the process of grinding in these differences. Eventually, however, because there is love for each other as a foundation, they always solve problems through dialogue, especially the life experience accumulated by this old man over the years. In terms of regulating the contradictions between them, it played a big role. What about a few months later? The two wives announced their pregnancy almost simultaneously. It's amazing. The old man felt joy and fear at the same time. I'm going to be a dad again at my age. Can I raise them well? But both wives smiled brightly. I'm looking for his hand. If we get stuck, the three of us can work together. Our children will grow up in a loving environment. So you don't have to worry. During pregnancy, there are many scenes of taking care of each other. For the wife who feels hard to listen to the big belly, the other wife will prepare warm food, or the old man will massage her directly. See their sleeping faces. An indescribable emotion arises. Maybe this relationship seems strange and absurd to the world, but it's clear there is a lot of love and happiness in it. As labor approaches, the old man was busy preparing for his two children. He felt the need to expand the house they lived in. The three of them put their hearts and minds into decorating the children's room. Eventually, both wives gave birth almost at the same time. The process was not very smooth, but in the end, they both gave birth to this healthy child. The old man walked in the hospital, in the porch, pacing back and forth. He even wiped his tears. This age, I'm about to have a new life again. It's an unbelievable joy. After hearing the news, the old man's children were shocked at first. Their father, newly born siblings, and it's two. However, when they see photos and videos of babies crying, somehow their hearts warmed. Anyway, they are also children who have the same blood as us. Unconsciously, their worries and curiosity outweigh their hatred for their father. With the passage of time, the life of this old man with his wives, it has also become more stable. His eldest son came to visit him in the country for the first time. At first he was skeptical, But when I met my father at the local airport, he was relieved. His father looked a little thinner, but his eyes were much more vivid than before. The two wives were polite, although somewhat awkwardly welcomed the eldest son. Welcome. The trek must have been hard. Please relax. The awkward atmosphere gradually eased. The eldest son looked at the two wives. Take good care of his younger siblings. Caring for his father. His mind slowly changed. I thought it was all a hoax at first, but it seems that the two of them really loved Dad. Hear his words. The old man smiled quietly. Can you confirm that I'm doing well? I was relieved. I'm sorry for my mother, but I'm really happy now. After a long conversation, the eldest son returned to Taiwan, and the message of the father told his other siblings. Dad looked really at ease. Of course, but there are still a lot of things that are difficult to understand. But we don't have to worry too much, although they did not fully agree with their father's choice. But they decided, if he is happy, they won't stop him again. Lost over time. Whenever you come across a festival or family event, they would have video calls with their fathers overseas and talk to him with laughter. The old man also gradually began to organize his property. Question, for now. He will change part of the steak in the stall by mistake the day before. It was given to the children, but he didn't give them completely. The reason is simple. If the kids grow up here, there will be a lot of education and living expenses. So I have to take responsibility to the end, he said, and planning the future for himself and his newborns. From the children's point of view, of course, there will definitely be something to regret. Maybe there will be such a statement. His father took better care of his new family, and not us. But after the strong son went back, pacify his brothers and sisters. Let Daddy do whatever he wants. It's Daddy's property anyway, and we've all grown up. Very good. In the days of living overseas, the old man looked at the two newborn children. Feel like every day is new. Hear the whisper of a newborn baby. I saw them clutching their little fingers tightly. It reminded him of emotions that had been forgotten a long time ago. It used to be when my kids were young. I'm too busy, failing to fully enjoy their upbringing. This time it's different. He hugged the kids every morning, changed their diapers, make funny noises, make them laugh. A belated father's new life. It was a precious time he couldn't miss. Of course, the surrounding views are not always friendly. Among people who live in the same community, someone whispered, "This old man who abandoned his grandson. Why live with two young wives?" Even polygamy is allowed in this country. Not everyone sees him positively either. However, this old man already has a relatively firm heart. No matter what others say, I'm going to follow what I think is the right path. He didn't feel scared. Instead, they gradually developed friendships with the people around them. With the birth of children, the two wives are actively involved in local activities. The neighbors also gradually accepted them. He has also played the piano in Taiwan many times, on birthdays or special anniversaries. If his children invite him, he would take only one of his two wives with him, or go alone. Because of his relationship with two wives, it is not recognized under Taiwanese law. Therefore, it is not possible to act as a formal couple. But when they eat with their families, the children also accepted, even a souvenir to the two wives. Show your appreciation. The world is constantly changing. People's values. It doesn't have to be fixed in just one aspect. While the children are on the father astronaut, they live together. It is embarrassing to be compared to a completely different appearance. But they tried to understand him and not criticize him, because they know their father's heart. Over time, the old man is approaching 80 years old. His knees are not as good as they used to be. It is difficult to walk for long periods of time. He has to be more mindful of what he eats and exercises. Whenever this happens, and not only his two wives, and his good boys will come forward. Help him, now. The children are already strong and cheerful enough, able to squeak the teases of friends. Friends will ask how many dads you have. They often say, "Oh," with pride, "We have two moms. Dad loved us too." Whenever these words are heard, this old Wang's heart will be stirred. It seems to be. He finally got it back. Family happiness that has not been achieved in the past. It's all thanks to a second chance. Of course, he knew it couldn't be. It's the answer for all. He had to endure a lot of criticism and ridicule. And he also used to be with his children. There have been big disagreements. But was his choice really wrong? Or as a person, he can enjoy the happiness of freedom. Over time, this is becoming clearer and clearer. One day, with his new wife, or a place with his old family, he finally mentioned the issue of property. I think I've done enough for you. Taiwan's misfortune and hatred. Part of the rental income from the stall will be assigned to you. But I'm going to take the rest of the property. Still in my name. I want to make more money. Spend more money. And it makes sense. Use it to raise my kids here. If you guys have any grievances, please let me know. The children looked at each other. Then one of them spoke on their behalf. At first, we couldn't understand Dad. But now we respect Dad. We're all adults too. And doing well in their own way. If Dad wants to give more to his new family, please do so. It's Dad's choice. And there's nothing we can do now. Instead, don't forget to contact us once in a while. And be sure to go back to Taiwan City again. Come by the way. Hear these words. The old man's eyes moistened. It was as if he had been worried about the burden of finding. Write it down all at once. Thank you for understanding, Dad. Or even if you don't understand, accept him as well. And the two wives of the new family. He also bowed deeply to the children. Thank you. We won't talk about it without words. We'll take good care of Daddy. In this way, all the problems are not completely solved. But at least the atmosphere has changed to mutual respect. That night, the old man looked at the sky. I thought I'm living a truly unique life. But I don't regret it. My kids and my new kids. And my two wives. Until now, I really knew I could be loved. And can love. After that, this old man frequently travels back and forth between Taiwan and that country. Sometimes live overseas for long periods of time. Sometimes they stay in Taiwan for family gatherings. People still don't understand his choice. Or point behind your back. However, he decided to focus more on his own well-being, instead of worrying about what others think. In the days of living overseas, when the old man looked at the two newborn children, he feels like every day is new. Hear the laughter of newborn babies. I saw them clutching their little hands tightly. Just don't guard. It reminded him of emotions that had been forgotten a long time ago. It used to be when my kids were young. I'm too busy, failing to fully enjoy their upbringing. This time it's different. He hugged the kids every morning, change their diapers, make the sound of the flower season, make them laugh. A belated father's new life. It was a precious time he couldn't miss. Of course, the surrounding views are not always friendly. Among people who live in the same community, someone whispered, "This old man who abandoned his grandson. Why live with two young wives?" Even polygamy is allowed in this country. Not everyone sees him positively either. However, this old man already has a relatively firm heart. No matter what others say, I'm going to follow what I think is the right path. He didn't feel scared. Instead, they gradually developed friendships with the people around them. With the birth of children, the two wives are actively involved in local activities. The neighbors also gradually accepted them. He has also played the piano in Taiwan many times, on birthdays or special anniversaries. If his children invite him, he would take only one of his two wives with him, or go alone. Because of his relationship with two wives, it is not recognized under Taiwanese law. Therefore, it is not possible to act as a formal couple. But when they eat with their families, the children also accepted. I would like to express my gratitude to the two wives for the souvenirs. The world is constantly changing. People's values. It doesn't have to be fixed in just one aspect. While the children are on the father astronaut, when they live together, embarrassed by a completely different appearance, but they tried to understand him and not criticize him, because they know their father's heart. Over time, the old man is approaching 80 years old. His knees are not as good as they used to be. It is difficult to walk for long periods of time. He has to be more mindful of what he eats and exercises. Whenever this happens, and not only his two wives, and his good boys will come forward. Help him, now. The children are already strong and cheerful enough, able to laugh it off. The teasing of friends. Friends will ask how many dads you have. They often proudly say that we have 2 mothers. Dad loved us too. Whenever these words are heard, the old man's heart will be stirred. It was as if he had finally found the past. Family happiness can only be achieved. It's all thanks to a second chance. Of course, he knew it couldn't be everyone's answer. He had to endure a lot of criticism and ridicule. And, moreover, he also used to work with his children. There have been big disagreements. But was his choice really wrong? Or as a person, he can enjoy the happiness of freedom. Over time, this is becoming clearer and clearer. One day, with his new wife, or rather, with his old family in one rise from the place, he finally mentioned the issue of property. I think I've done enough for you. Part of the rental income from the stalls in Taiwan will be assigned to you. But I'm going to take the rest of the property. Still in my name. I want to make more money. Spend more money. And it makes sense. Use it to raise my kids here. If you guys have any grievances, please let me know. The children looked at each other. Then one of them spoke on their behalf. At first, we couldn't understand Dad. But now we respect Dad. We're all adults too. And doing well in their own way. If Dad wants to give more to his new family, please do so. It's Dad's choice. And there's nothing we can do now. Instead, don't forget to contact us once in a while. And be sure to stop by when you go back to Taiwan. Hear these words. This is the old man's eyes moistened. It was as if he had been worried about the burden of finding. Write it down all at once. Thank you for understanding, Dad. Or even if you don't understand, accept him as well. And the 2 wives of the new family. He also bowed deeply to the children. Thank you. We're not going to talk about it. The Eves will take good care of Dad. In this way, all the problems are not completely solved. But at least the atmosphere has changed to mutual respect. That night, the old man looked at the sky. I thought to myself that I was living a truly unique life. But I don't regret it. My children and my new children are pregnant. And my 2 wives. Until now, I really knew I could be loved. And can love. After that, this old man frequently travels back and forth between Taiwan and that country. Sometimes live overseas for long periods of time. Sometimes they stay in Taiwan for family gatherings. People still don't understand his choice. Or point behind your back. However, he decided to focus more on his own well-being, instead of worrying about what others think. Time flies. Lao Wang is getting old. And his 2 wives and young children. But still young. If so, wives who needed him would take turns holding his hand. Take good care of it. Many people are incredulous about such a scenario. But for them, it's something that really takes place for granted. Dad, we're here too. Hope you get well soon. Whenever they say so. His eyes will be moist. Do I deserve to be loved like this? For him, life is too long and complicated. Sometimes, he blames himself for the wrong choices he made, and try to get lost. But in the end, he was able to get through. Help for those who need him. To reconcile with these emotions. One day, this old man, the body is weak enough to need help to move. As he sat in the cabin and looked out the window, I was thinking, I hate it all the time in the summer. Memories of setting up a food stall in the wild come flooding back to my heart. Time flies, isn't it? The days of the past were always long. But he said so. His children ran to him. Dad, look at the awards we were talking about at school today. The children happily shared their achievements with him. He couldn't help but laugh. And grinded the merit certificate. I'm so proud of you. Even if the body is weak. His heart was also filled with joy. His wives watched the scene with a smile behind them. Although he lived a different life from the world. But they loved him. He loved them too. And that's all that matters. Every year, they return to Taiwan to visit their families. And go to the ancestral tablet to worship. Some people can't forgive him. but he always wishes his family and loved ones all is well. In life, he found the best he could. It's a matter of being true to yourself and respecting others. His decision to marry 2 women. It's not for everyone, but it brought him a small happiness. He will never regret it. It's a crazy life, perhaps, but it's his own life. With age, his children are growing up. When his family began to grow, he knew he had to take care of them one last time. He made sure to plan for their future. And after his death, everyone is taken care of. I learned a lot from you. I also learned how to love. I will never forget that. His wives are deeply grateful. He was told that he lived each day to the fullest. Spend time with your family. Watch the kids grow up. He thanked for everything. He understood that love is universal, and it can come in many forms. In the evening, when the kids come home from school, this old man is in the backyard. Listen to his favorite old Hokkien songs. Asleep, he had a smile on his face. It looked serene. Unfortunately, he did not die, but his wives helped him up. He joked that I just wanted to sleep a little longer. Every day is worth cherishing and thanking for. Life is short, but there are many stories to tell. I'm glad I made such a decision. I want my family to be happy and continue to live happily together. When the sun sets, his children were by his side. His wives talked to him. When he entered the water again, he knew this was the life he wanted. Ultimately, the story of this old king is unique. But he conveyed one information that we can think about at least once. Life is not a set path. Sometimes it goes against common sense. Can bring unexpected happiness. Of course, not everyone can go this way. You must have the courage to bear the forgiveness of your family. Understand as well as the criticism of those around you. And you must be aware of the responsibilities you will bear. Eventually, however, important. Are you able to face it honestly? What kind of life you want to live? This question. The old man found the answer, although it was a little late, and finally got the Ihan family he longed for. No one can be sure that he made the right choice in the end. However, this story teaches us a lesson. That is, he always believes in his sincerity. And action was taken. As a result, many people began to understand and reconcile. Let's live our lives to the fullest. Take a path that is fair to ourselves. And let's not forget the love and happiness we get from this path. In the end, it is created by ourselves. That's it, an old man is incredible. The special journey full of waves continues. Maybe until the moment when he died and ended his life. His family will continue to learn new things. Children respect their father's unconventional choices. 2 wives and their children created a valuable family. It's like this. Sometimes there is a perverse happiness in the world. And that's perhaps another aspect of life. Thank you for watching today. If you find the video interesting, please subscribe, like, and comment. I will try to bring you more good works.